And just like that, it's over. Maybe you saw it coming. Maybe it's a bolt out of the blue. It may be steeped in a deep mutual sadness and despair, or it may have been directed at you in anger. It may have been spat at you, or spoken in the quietest of whispers. However it's delivered, a breakup, particularly one that you didn't instigate, is a defining moment in your life. There is a very definite before and after this moment, and you will never be the same, however you want to dice it.
And start to heal the childhood wounds that might have developed your codependency.
It wasn't a quick fix. It was very much working on my neural pathways and going, hang on a second, what is the work that I need to do here so that I don't get triggered in my environment and fall straight back into those patterns?
You are the one that's balancing your emotions for the sake of everybody else. And that's awesome for a period of time, but then it just becomes really tiring and it keeps you in a loop that doesn't allow you to move forward at all.
You need to acknowledge when you're being triggered. You need to acknowledge when there is something that needs to be worked on. If you heal that part of you that's showing itself, then you actually will lead to more ease, more joy, more abundance, more health and wealth.
Neurotransmitters are basically chemicals that go from cell to cell in your body. We've got serotonin, we've got dopamine, we've got that oxytocin, which is the love chemical.
The real reality for me is that the life order is you put yourself first, you put your partner second, you put your family third, and you actually put your work last out of the four.
We kind of get stuck in having such low energy, but there's a lot of things we can do to get unstuck. So that's really where I want to focus today.
I'm going to be completely transparent here. I am exactly 8 days post-breakup from the man I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with. I didn't see it coming. There was no friction, no huge issues that I knew of. And literally the week before, it was all I love yous and we can get through anything as a team. So what the hell qualifies me to be an authority on breakups, particularly when I'm only 8 days out of my own? Well, I'm in the unique position in my line of work as a lifestyle program radio host to have access to a whole range of specialists, from psychologists to nutritionists to holistic health practitioners. The list goes on. And over time, I've become obsessed with the human condition, how we relate, what chemicals are at play in our bodies, how stress shows up, past traumas, the lot. And it led me to study as a life coach and holistic practitioner. As a helpful aside, I had a brain aneurysm discovered around 6 years ago that meant that in the space of 2 weeks, I had to get my affairs in order and lie down on an operating table the surgeons didn't know if I'd get off of. In those 2 weeks, I had to master radical acceptance and the ability to process huge life events like a mofo. It's since become a bit of a superpower of mine. Back then, there was a very real chance that I could die. Now, with this breakup, I just feel like I want to. I'm curious about why we do what we do, either consciously or unconsciously, in our emotional world. And so when I felt myself lacking in understanding of what my body was doing in the hours and days after my breakup, I went searching for the information. Was there a way that I could gain some sort of direction after I'd been cast adrift? Well, I found gems scattered between numerous podcasts, articles, TikTok reels and books. But what I couldn't find was a roadmap to navigate out of heartbreak. A manual that assured me I wasn't crazy for feeling like I was having an out-of-body experience. A guide to tell me how to care for myself in the weeks ahead or how to process what was happening to me. I also know enough with my life coaching training to know that the brain blocks trauma and blurs memories in your mind. It's scientifically proven that women, as an example, block out the pain of childbirth because if they remembered every detail, well, there'd be a hell of a lot of kids without siblings, wouldn't there? I know I have a window here before my body mercifully lets me forget this tearing, searing pain. And I know that if I don't document it, In a year from now, I'll look back and think, it really wasn't that bad. Well, let me tell you as I sit here, it really is that bad. It really is. And I don't want to forget a thing. So, with tissues, a heavy body, and a microphone, I wade into the murky waters of my own breakup, and with the help of some pretty awesome experts, I'm creating a roadmap for me and for you. Now, you may have stumbled across my little pod at any point in your heartbreak journey, and perhaps you're lamenting the fact that you didn't find this on day one. Well, grief and indeed heartbreak isn't linear, and you may circle back to day 20 or even day 1 a few times before your process is complete. And that's completely normal and okay. What's important is that you understand where you have come from, what's happening in your body, and what you can do to support yourself in the best way possible. You can pick up from any episode that speaks to where you find yourself in that moment, but I always recommend going back to ground zero so that you can fully understand what the hell is going on in your world. Fair warning, I'll also be giving you a few things not to do at certain points and great reasons why, I promise. Think of these actions as the works burger when you're on a juice cleanse. So desperately tempting, but ultimately will blow up the whole thing. At some points, I'll ask you to hold a mirror to yourself. I'll ask you to be graceful, and I'll push you to some uncomfortable places. But unless you're an heiress, you probably need to keep grinding, keep parenting, keep living, and staying in bed for months on end. Well, ain't nobody got time for that. There will be times that I'll ask you to stop. There will be times I tell you to get your sorry ass out of the house. And there will probably be times that you feel like wringing my neck with the truth bombs I'm dropping. But these hacks I'm sharing will ultimately move you through this inevitably shit process as fast as humanly possible. It's all about understanding, the right resources, and of course, action. So take my hand. It's going to be messy. It's going to be confronting and at times clumsy. But I promise you, no matter how terrible you feel right now, it's all going to be worth it. I got you. I'm Louise Wilkinson, and this is How to Hack Your Heartbreak.